normally when I open up Twitter, it's a pink anime fox telling me to go fuck myself, but this...
That's actually David.
I see we have some pink anime foxes here. Alright, you people. Alright, so this guy, Immeasurable Matt on Twitter, he took a picture with him and his girlfriend or his wife, and he said, "It's wild to be sitting in a sold-out venue with a couple thousand other people waiting to listen to Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin when in my daily life, I act like a secret agent and tiptoe around even mentioning Jordan Peterson's name." Look around, guys. A lot of good people in this room with you right now, and I think, actually, we're starting to win. You feel it? You feel it? And you know, if we do this thing right, you know, most revolutions come with blood, but there will be no blood because this is about ideas. And the guy who I believe is at the center of the right ideas is right over there, and his name is Dr. Jordan Peterson. Give it up for Jordan Peterson, everybody.
You can tell you're in Texas.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Well, thank you very much. It's very nice. So, as Dave pointed out, we've been on tour for quite a long time, and this is the last city, American city, that, for now anyways, that I plan to speak at. I guess I'm in LA in December, but I'm not going to count that. My wife and I have traveled to, I think, 85 cities since February, something like that, and talked to about 250,000 people, I guess. Yeah, it's a lot of people. It's amazing, really, and it's surprising that so many people are interested in, I would think, deeper psychological ideas, you know, and that there's a public audience for that. It's really quite remarkable. And it's been a real privilege to do this, I would say. I've enjoyed it a lot. It's been unbelievably positive, you know. Not the whole experience. But these lectures have been unbelievably positive, you know. As far as I can tell, the majority of people who come aren't really coming for political reasons, and that's just as well as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not really interested in the final analysis in political ideas. I'm interested in them as ideas, but I'm not really interested in them politically. I'm more interested in psychological development. I'd much rather concentrate on the development of the individual, and that's underneath politics in some sense.
Damn
because,
it, I need a GoPro camera.
you know, almost everything is nested inside something else, and our political system depends on the integrity of the individual. It's predicated on the idea that the individual citizen, not consumer, but citizen, is the foundation of the state. So that sovereignty inheres in the individual, which is a really daring idea, a crazy idea in some sense. Sovereignty that inheres in everyone. And one of the prerequisites for having that work is that the people in whom sovereignty inheres are as together and honorable and honest and decent and responsible as they can possibly be, because otherwise well, if the foundation isn't solid, and if the individual is the foundation of the state, then obviously the state isn't solid. And I believe that the state, in some sense, is the kingdom of the dead. And the reason I say that is because it's something that's bequeathed to us. And it's bequeathed to us by those who lived in the past. All our institutions and our infrastructure, for that matter, all the tried and true ways that we do things aren't our inventions any more than our language is our invention. It's something that is a gift to us from our ancestors, let's say. But the problem with our ancestors is that they're all dead. And dead people can't speak or see, and so that means that it's up to the living to serve as the eyes for the dead. That's one way of thinking about it. It's a very old idea. And to see and speak for the dead, and so that means that you're responsible as an individual to keep your eyes open and your tongue sharp and your words aligned and your house in order, because according to the great myth that our culture is predicated on, the integrity of the society, the integrity of the future end of society depends on you. And I think that's true. Alexander Solzhenitsyn said, when he was reflecting on the horrors of communism, he pointed out that the Christian idea, Judeo-Christian idea, was that every single person was a center of the universe. That's how the universe is constructed in some sense, is that every conscious creature, every self-conscious creature, let's say, is a center. And it's not easy for us to understand how something could be built so that it could have multiple centers, because of course we tend to think that the way we think is that something has one center, but reality is very, very complicated, and it could easily be built so that it has as many centers as there are people. And that's a crazy idea in some sense, but it really seems to work. And so everyone is, in some strange sense, a center. I've thought about that from the perspective of networks. I think it's a way of approaching that idea and making it comprehensible. You know, if you think of yourself, if you think, well, there's 7 billion people, and you're just one of them, well, in some sense you can get away with anything, because what the hell do you matter if there's 7 billion people? It doesn't really matter what you do. If you think of all those people as isolated units, and maybe you think of a line of them 7 billion long and stretch around the entire world, and just take one person out of that, doesn't seem to make any difference at all. And I think that that's not an accurate way of thinking. Partly it's depressing in some sense, because it means that your existence is without significance. But it's also a relief in a perverse way, because it's a relief to be insignificant, perversely, because it means that it doesn't matter what you do. And if it doesn't matter what you do, well, it doesn't matter what you do, and that's kind of sad. But on the other hand, if it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you do. That's kind of a big advantage if you're looking for an excuse to do whatever the hell you want. And so it's better to understand that we're all nodes in a network, and you know, you can think about this arithmetically. You know, during your life you'll have the opportunity to affect 1,000 people deeply, I would say, for better or for worse, and each of those 1,000 people will affect 1,000 people. So that's 1,000,000 people, one person removed from you, and 1,000,000,000 two people removed. And we know how formal networks work, AI networks, computational networks. The misbehavior of a single node can produce tremendous instability in the system. And so we're networked, and more than ever now. And so what that means, I believe, is that what we do for evil or for good is amplified really beyond our understanding. And I think that is the way the world is constituted. It's something that our great religious stories insist upon, you know, that each person is related to the absolute in some manner and has some divine significance as a locus of consciousness. I thought a lot about consciousness too, trying to understand what it is. You know, it seems to me that it's something that I tried to develop a fair bit in 12 Rules for Life. You know, I don't think that we're driven mechanically like clockwork or in a deterministic way. I mean, we're deterministic machines to some degree, and we're limited in the scope of our ability. But I don't believe that we're driven like a clock is driven. I don't think there's any evidence that we are, not any compelling evidence. I think instead, we're creatures that confront potential. We're not driven by the past. We're creatures that confront potential. And the potential is the future. Potential is the great expanse of what could be. You know, and when you wake up in the morning and your consciousness reemerges from the darkness that has enveloped it, you confront the day. And you confront the possibilities of the day. And for better or for worse, you know, that can be an exciting proposition. All those opportunities that are lying there for you to take, or it can be a daunting challenge if things aren't going so well in your life. But in any case, it seems that what you confront is an expansive possibility of potential. And that it's up to you to decide how that potential is going to manifest itself. We seem to hold ourselves responsible in that manner. You know, very often in life it seems like you can go to the right or you can go to the left. You have a choice. You can make this reality manifest itself or this reality. You're not omniscient. You don't necessarily know what's going to happen, but you have some sense of it, and you can at least intend something, even if it doesn't turn out that way. Right? You can see how things might unfold, and you can decide, well, I'm going to act in this manner because I want this outcome. And sometimes that works. And that's a very strange thing, because what it means, and I think this is right, I think that what it means is that you're the mechanism by which